On this week's Hot List, family plan. She's been making the political rounds. Will Sukarno's granddaughter get a presidential shot in 2024? Royal reservation, why many around the world, including here, are conflicted over the passing of the British Queen. And sweet treats. What local desserts could end a meal better than apple pie or tiramisu? Hello and welcome. This is Hot Indonesia. I'm Dalton Tanonaka in Jakarta. Let's get to it. My co-hosts, Linda Ibrahim, writer and business consultant in Jakarta, and sitting in for Millie this week, Marcelia Lazar, artist and clinical hypnotherapist in Jakarta. Hot topic number one. Family plan. She's been making the political rounds, seeking alliances for the 2024 presidential elections. Puan Maharani is the first female Speaker of the House, daughter of the first female president, and granddaughter of the country's founding father. But even with this legacy and Indonesia's biggest party behind her, her standings in early surveys are low. Now, Linda, for those not familiar with the record of Madam Speaker, briefly, what are Puan Maharani's major accomplishments to date, and are they enough to lead a ticket, do you think?
Well, in her position as the speaker, she did pass some bills. You know, there are seen to be good and progressive. For example, the bill on the sexual molestation, sexual violence. That was a good bill that she passed. And then she also chaired, I would say, very rocky parliament session the past couple of years. I mean, there's all when it comes to certain issues that are getting very heated, like religious tolerance and all of that. She's at the helm of all of those and maintaining whatever is expected to be maintained, I would say. But I can't, in my conscious mind, go more than that, to be perfectly honest with you.
And that's been the problem. She has a lack of accomplishment and a lack of a record.
She has never held any public offices before. It's not like she's been a mayor or even a regent, you know, that you could pinpoint exactly what she did. You know, maybe building some infrastructure or making headway for children or the welfare of the poor or something like that. Something that is more.
She was a minister. She was a minister.
Yeah, but she was the coordinating minister. She was not even the minister of a certain ministry, you know, of a certain industry.
Speaker Puan will be 51 years old on election day, still politically young. Marcelia, what's her image among younger people who don't really remember her mom and her granddad?
Absolutely not people-oriented. And amongst the millennial, we, as millennial, you know, barely talked about her. Well, of course, everybody knows Puan Maharani as the figure, as her in her current position now, being part of the dynasty and the royalty. But really not much more than that, because we're still waiting for her to show us something, to show us you know, a significance of her, an essence that will make her, you know, someone we will be proud of as our next candidate.
So being a woman is not enough.
Being a woman is a wonderful thing, but then you have to make us proud, not the opposite, because we're rooting for her, but it's looking rough so far.
Her mother was our first female president, but when that happened, not very many feminists, I would say, cheer on that, because most of us realized that probably a good 75 or 80 or 90% reason she got elected was because of her last name, because people at that time were still very looking up towards the founding father, Sukarno. Would have she been elected? Has she not been the daughter of Sukarno? That's the biggest question on anybody's mind. And then her daughter faces the same problem. It's not like we can't compare them to, for example, Margaret Thatcher, you know, or even Hillary Clinton. Yes, there was the attachment with Bill Clinton, but Hillary Clinton herself went to all these prestigious schools and was an accomplished lawyer long before she joined the politics. Can't say the same thing about these two women. And this is why I'm, as an Indonesian woman, very conflicted.
Early conjecture is that she could be a possible number two. It would be a better fit, possibly with the man to beat, in my mind, Prabowo Subianto, defense minister of the Gerindra party. I think that pairing, Prabowo and Puan, Marcelia, would be strong. What do you think?
It's only what's going to make it work for Puan, setting aside the feminist aspect of it. In my view, what's going to make it work for her is when she pairs herself with the right coalition. Prabowo is a strong pair to aim. Hence, I think they've been bidding over these two to come together and make a unit out of it. But yes, that's the only way I could look at it as a possibility.
Yeah, like I said, politically young, maybe not her time. Look for a good partner, but she has to bring something to the ticket, and that's what the top of the ticket has to look at. Now, yeah, Linda, you mentioned this, family matriarch Megawati Sukarno Putri. It's no secret she would love for her daughter to run. But as party chair, Ibu Mega would be, to me, negligent not to acknowledge the popularity of another PDIP member, Ganjar Pranowo, governor of Central Java, right, Linda?
Right. If Megawati loves her daughter, then it will be Puan on the ticket. But if Megawati loves the party, then it will be Ganjar Pranowo on the ticket. But here's the thing, the conundrum of it all. We're talking about the lack of experience for Puan. But at the moment, she's already there on the Speaker of the House. It will be so hard now, to retract and try to rebuild her accomplishment. It's not like she could just go now and become a mayor or a regent, after being the Speaker of the House. That was the fatal mistake, I believe, that her mother and the party made. They wanted to push her so much, thinking that it would just be enough. They should have just rein in and, okay, let's try her to be a mayor first somewhere. Maybe she would win, maybe she would lose, but then there will be something to build on, And when the ministerial post came along, gave a real ministerial post instead of the coordinating minister. I'm not the smartest person in Indonesia at all. So which means if I could see this, millions of other Indonesians could see it as well. And it would be reflected on the votes.
Sure. And
I don't think when it comes to Puan Maharani, it's a lack of experience. I think it's a lack of achievement, rather. She's being situated, with, all this experience, from one ground to a higher ground to the next to where she's at right now. But it's just that for every chapter she's in, we have nothing to be proud of. At least not yet so far.
Okay, well, maybe she could become governor of Jakarta.
Oh.
Let's see.
Just throwing that out there. I'm not serious about that. Okay.
Well.
Oh God.
That's another subject, right? We'll talk about that.
I'm holding my tongue.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a dead silence there. Okay. Hot Indo will continue shortly with royal reservations. Why not all are mourning the passing of the crown in the British monarchy?
Saya ingin mengumumkan kerjasama dengan The Indonesia Channel. Saya mendorong semua entitas untuk bergabung dalam upaya ini dengan mempromosikan produk dan layanan mereka di platform digital yang unik ini.
I love Indonesia. I love the food. Yummy. Wow. I'm gonna hunt for ingredients. Now I'm ready to cook. Let's go to the kitchen. Let's meet to eat.
Foodiepedia on the Indonesia Channel.
I'm Trần Minh Ngân of VCCN Net Việt in Hanoi.
I'm Thairat Thumya of Thailand's Thairat TV in Bangkok.
I'm Monica Sambodet from the National Television of Cambodia in Phnom Penh.
I'm Raymond Go of Malaysia's TV3 in Kuala Lumpur.
I'm Glenda Chong of Singapore's Channel News Asia.
I'm Raisa Chantami of the Indonesia channel at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta.
This is your weekly look into the dynamic Southeast Asia region.
ASEAN Today on the Indonesia Channel.
The Best of Bali takes viewers on a special guided tour of the treasures of the island of the gods.
Well, the romantic dinner is beautiful.
The Best of Bali, only on the Indonesia Channel.
You're watching Hot Indonesia with Linda, Marcelia, and me. Here's hot topic number 2, royal reservations. She had ruled the British Empire for 70 years, longer than any other monarch. When Queen Elizabeth II died on September 8th at the age of 96, she had reigned over 32 countries in all. 15 remained Commonwealth nations. Condolences poured in from around the world, including a sympathy message from President Joko Widodo. Now, okay, I'm a bit conflicted, if we want to use that word again, on this occasion, as are others, especially in countries that have been under colonial rule, like Indonesia. Marcelia, we mourn the passing of a woman who served her public gracefully, but do you have reservations about this occasion?
I personally admire Her Majesty in her service, in her elegance, but then I have to separate that from my civilian point of view, being Indonesian under the colony of the Dutch for too many years. They say the sun never sets on British Empire, but many believe that with her death, it has set. So, as for me personally, and many Indonesians that I noticed that doesn't necessarily mourn over the loss of the Queen. I'm certain that our reasons are quite similar than some of our fellow Africans, indirectly.
Yeah, and Linda, who is an avid follower and participant of social media, you've seen the posts from here and abroad pointing to British rule that was less than kind in many countries. Indonesia, of course, under Dutch rule until 1945. For those praising the late Queen, Linda, is it short memories or no memories of a colonial master?
Here's what I think. I'll start with me first. I love history, and I love watching pomp and pageantry. So for me personally, British royal family provide for those, because their long history alone, just crazy, all the Plantagenet, Tudor, and then the Windsor. And the pomp and pageantry, I like watching it, and I know a lot of people love watching it. And I think that's why a lot of people feel like a lot of Indonesians feel like they could mourn the Queen of Elizabeth because they're lacking all the shows. It doesn't necessarily mean that they forget being ruled by European colonialism. But what you have to remember, only 2 islands in Indonesia have been colonized by the Brits. That's Runanai in Banda Islands, and that swapped with Singapore and New Amsterdam, now called New York, in Breda, 1667. So Indonesians don't have a memory of being colonized by the Brits. We have the memory of being colonized by the Dutch. So I think that just separates it a little bit. Not very many just associated with the problem with European colonialism as a whole. If you're getting what I'm saying. So
yeah, no, I got it.
yeah,
I got it.
so-
But let me get specific here. One tweet from a professor at Carnegie Mellon University in the U.S. said this, and I quote, "I heard the chief monarch of a thieving, raping, genocidal empire is finally dying." That's pretty harsh words, and she had even more harsh words after that. So let me get to Marcelia. Is that too harsh, or is that fair?
Anything that is fair sounds harsh, So, I mean, over freedom of speech, many can say, I mean, it's an insensitive word to say it, at the time of bereavement is this, but, the truth will remain the truth nonetheless.
I probably
should
add that the professor you were quoting, Dalton, she's from Kenya, isn't she? I mean, Kenya actually experienced being oppressed by the British monarchy. They were a colony for a long time. So I think that was very fair what she said. I believe they must have come from personal experience, collective experience of her countrymen. A lot of Indonesians, if I remember correctly, never say anything kind toward the Dutch monarchies as well, because for us, that's the enemy. For her, that professor, the enemy is the British. So I think to put it in context, that's what happened with that tweet. And I support that tweet. I think it was unfair that Twitter deleted that tweet, and then she was getting all this backlash. She was just saying what her people experienced for hundreds of years.
So Linda, how can you separate? You said you like the pomp and the ceremony and probably the Princess Di era and all that, but with what this woman said, which is in stark contrast to what you like.
That was her experience, and that's very valid. I watch the British royal family as an entertainment. It's two different things. I don't watch the Dutch royal family first of all, maybe because of the all this history among us, and also because, frankly speaking, they're not that interesting. The British royal family has provided us with so many. In recent memory, just so many scandals alone. You watch them like you watch soap opera. That's the way I see it. And I don't even watch The Crown because I don't have Netflix.
No, I understand, but I was speaking to colonialism in general, not whether it's British or Dutch. I mean, those who have been under colonial rule, which have been many countries in this world, don't have nice things to say about their former masters.
Oh,
right.
Yes, I agree. But then if you're asking what reaction that would, like that tweet, that must have come from her gut, and a lot of
course, it's very emotional. It sounds
very raw, right? And if you're looking for that kind of a raw emotion from me or most of Indonesians, that would have been with the Dutch, or the Japanese actually even. But now with the British royal family, we could separate it. And it's like, oh, okay, there's a good entertainment. Oh, look at the gowns, look at the gilded carriages.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that entertainment factor, Linda. Now, Marcelia, with the backlash against the mourning and the funeral, final ceremony, I think comes Monday. With the backlash came backlash against the backlash. So, Marcelia, my question to wrap this segment up: is it unfair to tie, by all accounts, a decent woman with a country's historical misdeeds?
It's not two different things. She has overseen a lot of transitions, one decade after another, throughout her service, and overseeing something and being part of the decision making of something she's overseeing are also another thing to talk about. So despite of all the beautiful show and gowns, there are lives being taken over some of these decisions. There are people being raped and these are not our people. They're not associated with us, but as one coming from a nation who has been colonized for hundreds of years, I will share their sentiments, no matter how rough it may sound.
And one last point, I remember when Princess Diana advocated for AIDS victims and HIV victims, and the Queen supposedly said, "Don't get involved in that. It's too sensitive. It's not something we want to touch." But she went ahead. She went ahead and did it, and that's what I guess people love Princess Diana for.
That's an obvious example.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we can talk about that another time too. Okay, more hot Indo is ahead. Sweet treats. What's the dessert equivalent to America's apple pie?
Produk lokal memang handal, kreasi lokal memang spesial. Ayo beli buatan negeri, bangga sekali produk sendiri. Dari busana sampai kria, kuliner juga buatan kita. Ayo beli kreatif lokal, marilah beli produk kreatif lokal. Pejuang negeri, beli kreatif lokal, banggalah beli produk kreatif lokal.
I'm Caitlin Turner, and welcome to Yoga Bliss. Exhale, reaching down to triangle pose.
Roll your knee out and up to the sky, breathing here.
Yoga Bliss, only on the Indonesia Channel.
You are watching iPop Playlist.
iPop on the Indonesia Channel.
You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Hot topic number 3, sweet treats. The first thing I look at in a menu is the dessert section. If that restaurant has creative and exciting items there, then the rest of the food, in my opinion, will be good. But I'm simple. Give me a slice of real apple or pumpkin pie and I'm a happy man. It's hard to find here in Indonesia, so I'm looking for a local favorite. Linda, please help me. My taste, you know my taste a bit. What is an Indonesian dessert that I and other expats might love?
Let me introduce you to the concept of kue basah. We separate, right? They only last for a day. They're sort of cakey, the form. And there's a gazillion of them. Every single area in Asia will have them. A lot of them are made of glutinous flour, and then.
But you're talking about snacks on the street or little shop. I'm talking about when you go to a restaurant and you're served a nice dessert as the final course. Or can you have that?
Well, you can. If you go to like a lot of restaurants in Asia, including the fine dining like Pelataran, they've added that to their menu, so you can get those, for your snacks. Because Indonesian, I would say, we don't have the pie concept. Pudding is something that we actually borrow from, I believe, the Western countries. So. If you're being served whatever Indonesian version of pudding in restaurants, it's really something borrowed from the European recipes, except for those kue basah that I mentioned. And I actually love the fact that now some of the restaurants serve them.
Now, Marcelia, I think that you're a dessert person. And what would you recommend?
Two things. The first one will be bubur sumsum, Bubur sumsum is a traditional dessert that you will usually find only in Jakarta, not outside of Jakarta. It's sweet, it's glutinous, of course, but it has the texture of porridge-ish. You know, it's and then it's a combination with some brown sugar in the mix. You know, like
That sounds good.
brown
That sounds
sugar.
like pudding and sweet thing that I might like. What else?
Yeah, it's like pudding, but it's not pudding.
Yeah.
And the other one is tahu gula. It's made out of tofu with ginger and brown sugar boiled together, and then pandan leaves. So the soup will come from these three things, and then there's this tofu, soft as cotton, you know.
Kembang tahu.
Yeah, kembang tahu. The kampung name would be tahu gula, but yes, kembang tahu is the actual Indonesian.
Okay, so with so many nice local treats like that, and it sounds different in their own ingredients, why do so many places here just serve like sliced fruit or tiramisu or ice cream? I mean, you know, you get that in 90% of the restaurants.
Because it's easier. No, because it's easier.
Yeah. It is feedback time now. Arjuna had this to say about the sensational case of cop killing cop. Institutions that are expected to be law enforcers have been damaged by law enforcers themselves. Very embarrassing. And Carmelit posted this comment: politics is dirty. Here's how to contact us with your feedback. Email at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Hot Indonesia or Indonesia Channel Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Final words, Linda.
Going back to our second segment, I'd like to pass condolences to our viewers from the United Kingdom and the realms for the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. Regardless of how I view European colonialism in general, I do note and respect the fact that for 70 years, and that's a long time, Queen Elizabeth II never wavered from her duties. The way she didn't waver from her duties might not always be in line with the zeitgeist of the time, but that she did, and that was the form of service that I don't think in my lifetime I will see again from any of British monarch, of any monarch in the world in general. Times are changing, and that will change how they view their own institution and how the rest of the world view monarchy in general. The condolences, nevertheless.
Final words, Marcelia.
Justice for Joshua. I'm standing next to my dear friend Irma Huta Barat in the fight for justice, and to also hopefully the bigger goal of it is to rectify the system that has been broken, that has been very manipulated for the longest time. So more and more of us needs to speak alongside of her in trying to get this thing voiced and get justice for the case.
And my final words. I had lunch with the U.S. Ambassador to Indonesia, Sung Kim, the other day. As fellow Asian Americans, we share similar concerns, fighting racism, human rights, and understanding each country better. We also miss the same things: family, free time, and food. Ambassador Kim said the one item that he misses most: a good deli-style corned beef sandwich on rye. Me too. And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. For Linda Ibrahim and Marceli Alasar, I'm Dalton Tanarok in Jakarta. Thank you for watching. Please join us again next time.